The wisdom of Solomon. Love, betrayal, and the heart's true test. Many love while they are loved. Few love after being betrayed. Ancient lesson. Preface. The king's understanding. In the courts of ancient Jerusalem, where King Solomon rendered judgment with wisdom that drew seekers from the ends of the earth, there emerged truths about the human heart that transcend time itself. Among these eternal principles stands one that cuts to the very marrow of human relationships: the distinction between conditional love and love that endures through the fires of betrayal. Solomon, gifted with understanding that surpassed all the wise men of the East and all the wisdom of Egypt, observed the patterns of human behavior with the clarity of one who had seen both the heights of human nobility and the depths of human frailty. His wisdom reveals that love's true nature is not measured in seasons of harmony, but in moments of profound testing. Chapter 1. The Nature of Love. According to Solomon, the foundation of understanding. Solomon understood that love manifests in multiple forms, each with its own character and durability. In his observations recorded in the Song of Songs, he celebrated the passionate love between lovers, yet in Proverbs he warned of love's counterfeits and the need for wisdom in matters of the heart. The king discerned that human love often operates on a principle of reciprocity, a natural exchange where affection flows freely when it is returned in kind. This reciprocal love forms the foundation of many relationships. Friendships flourish when both parties invest equally. Marriages thrive when partners consistently demonstrate care for one another, and even the bonds between parent and child strengthen through mutual expressions of love and respect. Yet Solomon recognized a fundamental truth that many fail to grasp: reciprocal love, while beautiful and necessary, represents only the beginning of love's potential. It is love in its infancy, love under ideal conditions, love that has not yet been tested by the harsh realities of human weakness and failure, the test of betrayal. Betrayal serves as love's crucible, revealing its true composition. Solomon witnessed countless cases where relationships crumbled at the first sign of unfaithfulness, disloyalty, or broken trust. He observed how quickly ardent declarations of eternal devotion dissolved when subjected to the acid test of disappointment and hurt. The wisdom literature attributes to Solomon the understanding that betrayal is not merely an external action, but a revelation of internal realities. When someone we love betrays us, it strips away illusions and forces us to confront the true nature of our affection. Do we love the person, or do we love the way they make us feel? Do we cherish them for who they are, or for what they do for us? Most individuals, Solomon observed, love while they are loved because such love costs little and asks nothing heroic of the human spirit. It flows naturally, like water following the path of least resistance. This conditional love serves important purposes. It builds initial bonds, creates positive feedback loops in relationships, and provides the emotional fuel for daily interactions. However, when betrayal strikes, conditional love reveals its limitations. The person who loved only while being loved finds their affection extinguished by the cold wind of disappointment. Their love was never truly about the other person, but about the pleasant feelings and benefits that flowed from the relationship. Chapter 2. The Rare Few Who Love After Betrayal. The Mark of Exceptional Character. Solomon's wisdom reveals that few individuals possess the internal strength and depth of character necessary to love after being betrayed. This scarcity is not accidental but reflects the extraordinary nature of such love. To love after betrayal requires a fundamental shift in the source and motivation of one's affection. Those who love after betrayal have typically undergone a profound transformation in their understanding of love itself. They have moved beyond viewing love as an emotion dependent on external circumstances, and have embraced it as a choice, a commitment, and a reflection of their own character rather than a response to another's behavior. This transformation rarely occurs overnight. Solomon understood that wisdom comes through experience, often painful experience. Those who develop the capacity to love after betrayal have usually walked through their own valleys of disappointment, forgiveness, and healing. They have learned that their ability to love says more about who they are than about who they love, the source of enduring love. Solomon recognized that love capable of surviving betrayal must be rooted in something deeper than human emotion or natural affection. In his wisdom literature, he points toward the divine nature as the ultimate source of such love. Just as the Creator continues to love despite humanity's repeated unfaithfulness, humans can learn to love with a love that transcends natural limitations. This divine quality of love operates according to different principles than emotional love. It chooses the good of the other person regardless of their response. It seeks restoration rather than revenge. It builds bridges instead of walls. It forgives not because forgiveness has been earned, but because forgiveness reflects the character of the one who loves. Solomon understood that developing this capacity requires both wisdom and spiritual maturity. It demands a clear understanding of human nature, including one's own capacity for failure, combined with a commitment to values that transcend immediate emotional responses. Chapter 3. The Wisdom of Discernment in Love. Understanding Human Nature. Solomon's wisdom emphasizes the importance of understanding human nature in all its complexity. He recognized that people are capable of both great nobility and profound failure, often within the same individual. This understanding serves as a foundation for mature love that can weather the storms of human weakness. The wise person, according to Solomon, enters relationships with realistic expectations. They love deeply but not naively. They trust appropriately, but maintain awareness of human limitations. They invest emotionally while protecting their core identity from being entirely dependent on another's response. This balanced approach does not represent cynicism, but rather wisdom. Solomon understood that disappointment often stems from unrealistic expectations rather than actual failures. When we expect perfection from imperfect beings, we set ourselves up for the very betrayals that will test our capacity to love. The role of boundaries in love. Contrary to popular misconceptions, Solomon's wisdom suggests that loving after betrayal does not mean accepting continued abuse or manipulation. True love, rooted in wisdom, establishes appropriate boundaries that protect both parties and create conditions for genuine relationship. The person who loves after betrayal often must learn to separate their emotional commitment to someone's well-being from their willingness to accept destructive behavior. They may love deeply while also protecting themselves from ongoing harm. They may forgive completely while also insisting on changed behavior as a condition for restored intimacy. Solomon recognized that this balance requires great wisdom and courage. It demands the ability to distinguish between love and enabling, between forgiveness and foolishness, between commitment and codependence. Chapter 4. The Practical Path to Post-Betrayal Love. The Process of Forgiveness. Solomon's wisdom reveals that loving after betrayal typically begins with the challenging process of forgiveness. However, biblical forgiveness differs significantly from popular understanding. It does not require immediate restoration of trust or the pretense that harm did not occur. True forgiveness, as understood in Solomon's tradition, involves releasing the right to revenge and choosing to wish well for the one who caused harm. It represents a decision to break the cycle of retribution and to respond to evil with good. This choice often must be made repeatedly, as emotions of hurt and anger naturally resurface. The process of forgiveness serves the forgiver as much as the forgiven. It prevents bitterness from taking root and destroying the capacity for future love. It maintains the integrity of one's own character regardless of another's actions. It creates space for healing and potentially restoration, rebuilding on solid ground. When relationships continue after betrayal, Solomon's wisdom suggests they must be rebuilt on firmer foundations than existed before. The initial trust based on assumption and inexperience must be replaced by trust built through demonstrated change and proven character. This rebuilding process requires patience from both parties. The betrayed person needs time to heal and observe genuine change. The betrayer needs to understand that trust is earned through consistent behavior over time, not through promises or apologies alone. Solomon understood that relationships reconstructed after betrayal often become stronger than those that have never been tested. The process of working through failure, forgiveness, and restoration can create bonds forged in the fire of real experience rather than the pleasant feelings of initial attraction. The growth of character. Perhaps most importantly, Solomon recognized that the capacity to love after betrayal represents a significant development in personal character. Those who achieve this level of love have typically grown in wisdom, compassion, and strength. They have learned to love from a position of internal security rather than external need. This character development benefits not only the specific relationship where betrayal occurred, but all future relationships. The person who has learned to love after betrayal brings a depth and stability to subsequent connections that can prevent future betrayals and create more authentic intimacy. Chapter 5. The Broader Implications of Love's Test. Societal Consequences. Solomon's wisdom extends beyond individual relationships to consider the broader implications of how societies handle love and betrayal. Communities where conditional love predominates tend toward fragmentation and instability. When people love only while being loved, social bonds weaken at the first sign of stress or conflict. Conversely, societies that cultivate the capacity for post-betrayal love demonstrate greater resilience and unity. These communities can weather crises, heal from internal conflicts, and maintain cohesion across differences. They create cultures of forgiveness and restoration rather than revenge and division. Solomon observed that leadership plays a crucial role in modeling these values. Leaders who demonstrate the capacity to love despite opposition or betrayal inspire others to similar heights of character. They create environments where forgiveness is possible and where people can learn from failure rather than being destroyed by it. The legacy of wise love. The impact of those who love after betrayal extends far beyond their immediate relationships. Their example teaches others that such love is possible and worthwhile. They break cycles of hurt and retaliation that can persist across generations. They demonstrate that human beings are capable of rising above their natural limitations. Solomon understood that this type of love creates a legacy that outlasts individual lives. Children who witness parents loving through difficulty learn that love is more than feeling, it is a choice and a commitment. Communities that embrace post-betrayal love develop cultures of grace and resilience that can endure for centuries. Chapter 6. The Spiritual Dimension of Enduring Love. The Divine Pattern. Solomon's wisdom consistently points toward the divine as both the source and the model for love that survives betrayal. The relationship between the Creator and humanity provides the ultimate example of love persisting despite repeated unfaithfulness. This divine love demonstrates several characteristics that human love can emulate. It remains constant despite changing circumstances. It seeks the good of the beloved even when that good is rejected. It offers forgiveness without limit while maintaining justice and truth. It creates opportunities for restoration without forcing compliance. Solomon recognized that humans who develop the capacity for post-betrayal love are participating in something greater than mere human emotion. They are reflecting divine character and contributing to the healing of a broken world. The transformation of the lover. Perhaps the most profound insight in Solomon's wisdom is that loving after betrayal transforms the one who loves more than the one who is loved. The person who chooses to love despite hurt develops qualities of character that serve them in every area of life. They develop emotional stability that does not depend on external circumstances. They gain wisdom about human nature that helps them navigate all relationships more effectively. They acquire strength of character that enables them to face other challenges with confidence and grace. Most importantly, they discover that their capacity to love is not limited by another's response. This realization frees them from the prison of reciprocal love and opens possibilities for deeper, more authentic relationships in the future. Chapter 7. Practical applications in daily life. In marriage and family. The wisdom of loving after betrayal finds its most challenging and important application in marriage and family relationships. These intimate bonds create the greatest potential for both deep hurt and profound healing. Solomon understood that marriage between imperfect people will inevitably involve disappointments and failures. The couples who thrive are not those who never experience betrayal, but those who learn to love through and beyond it. They develop the capacity to forgive, rebuild trust, and create stronger bonds through the process of healing. In family relationships, the ability to love after betrayal becomes crucial for breaking generational patterns of dysfunction. Parents who model post-betrayal love teach their children that relationships can survive failure and that people can change and grow. They create environments where family members can be honest about their struggles without fear of permanent rejection. In friendship and community, Solomon's wisdom applies equally to friendships and community relationships. The friends who last are not those who never disappoint each other, but those who learn to love through disappointments. They understand that human beings are complex, and that betrayal often stems from weakness rather than malice. In community settings, the capacity for post-betrayal love enables groups to survive conflicts and disagreements that would otherwise tear them apart. Churches, neighborhoods, and civic organizations that embrace these principles can maintain unity across differences and create environments where people can grow and change. In professional relationships, even in professional contexts, Solomon's wisdom about love after betrayal has applications. While professional relationships may not involve the same depth of emotional investment as personal relationships, they still require trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. Professionals who develop the capacity to work effectively with those who have disappointed them professionally demonstrate wisdom and maturity that serves them well throughout their careers. They can separate personal feelings from professional necessities and maintain focus on common goals despite interpersonal difficulties. Chapter 8. The obstacles to post-betrayal love. Pride and the demand for justice. Solomon recognized that pride represents one of the greatest obstacles to loving after betrayal. The human ego naturally demands recognition of wrongs and insists on some form of compensation or revenge. This demand for justice, while understandable, often prevents the forgiveness necessary for continued love. Wise love learns to distinguish between justice and revenge. It supports appropriate consequences for harmful behavior while releasing personal demands for retaliation. It understands that true justice serves restoration and protection rather than mere punishment. Overcoming pride requires humility and perspective. Those who love after betrayal often develop a clearer understanding of their own capacity for failure, which enables them to extend grace to others. They recognize that they too have needed forgiveness, and that their own love has sometimes failed. Fear and self-protection. Another significant obstacle to post-betrayal love is fear. Fear of being hurt again, fear of appearing weak, fear of being taken advantage of. These fears are natural and to some extent appropriate. Solomon's wisdom does not advocate for naive trust that ignores reasonable precautions. However, wisdom learns to manage fear without being controlled by it. It takes appropriate precautions while remaining open to love and connection. It protects without closing off entirely. It learns from past experiences without allowing those experiences to dictate all future responses. The person who develops post-betrayal love learns to act from strength rather than fear. They love not because they are guaranteed a positive response, but because love reflects their character and values. This shift from fear-based to character-based decisions represents a fundamental transformation in how they approach relationships. Societal pressure and expectations. Modern society often pressures individuals to respond to betrayal with immediate relationship termination. The cultural message that people should not tolerate any form of disappointment or failure in relationships can make post-betrayal love seem foolish or weak. Solomon's wisdom challenges these cultural assumptions. It recognizes that relationships capable of surviving betrayal often become deeper and more authentic than those that have never been tested. It understands that the capacity to love after being hurt represents strength rather than weakness. However, this wisdom also recognizes the difference between loving someone and remaining in a destructive relationship. Post-betrayal love sometimes expresses itself through loving detachment, caring for someone's well-being while maintaining necessary boundaries for self-protection. Chapter 9. The fruits of mature love. Personal transformation of the Psalm 24 of Give back Horn.
when the sieni toward trend is done with you right holidays. Without haze enough,
That. Those who develop the capacity to love after betrayal experience profound personal transformation. They discover inner resources they did not know they possessed. They develop emotional resilience that serves them in all areas of life. They gain wisdom about human nature that improves all their relationships. Perhaps most importantly, they discover that their happiness and security do not depend entirely on how others treat them. This realization brings a freedom that allows for more authentic love in the future. They can love without desperation, give without resentment, and invest in relationships without losing their individual identity. This transformation often leads to increased self-respect and confidence. People who can love after betrayal know that they are capable of responding to difficulty with grace and wisdom. This self-knowledge provides a foundation for facing future challenges with courage and hope. Deeper relationships. Ironically, those who have learned to love after betrayal often find themselves capable of deeper, more authentic relationships in the future. They are no longer seeking relationships primarily to meet their own emotional needs, but can appreciate others for who they truly are. This shift creates space for genuine intimacy, based on realistic understanding rather than idealistic expectations. They can enjoy relationships without the anxiety that comes from depending entirely on another's response for their emotional well-being. Their own experience of working through betrayal and forgiveness also makes them safer people for others to trust. They understand the complexities of human nature and can provide the kind of stable, accepting love that enables others to be authentic and vulnerable. Contribution to healing. Perhaps the greatest fruit of mature love is its contribution to healing in a broken world. Those who love after betrayal become agents of restoration and hope. They demonstrate that cycles of hurt and retaliation can be broken. They model possibilities that inspire others to attempt similar growth. Their influence extends beyond their immediate relationships to impact entire communities. They become the kind of people others turn to during crises because they have proven their ability to love through difficult circumstances. They create environments where healing is possible and where people can grow beyond their failures. Chapter N. The Eternal Perspective. Love as a reflection of ultimate reality. Solomon's wisdom suggests that the capacity to love after betrayal connects us to ultimate reality in ways that conditional love cannot. It reflects eternal truths about the nature of love itself, and our purpose as human beings. From this perspective, developing post-betrayal love becomes more than a relationship strategy. It becomes a spiritual discipline that connects us to the divine nature. It represents participation in the kind of love that sustains the universe, and offers hope for redemption and restoration. This eternal perspective provides motivation for the difficult work of learning to love after being hurt. It places individual struggles within a larger context of cosmic significance, and offers hope that such love makes a meaningful contribution to the healing of the world. The legacy of wise love. Solomon understood that the choices we make about how to respond to betrayal have consequences that extend far beyond our immediate circumstances. Those who choose love over bitterness, forgiveness over revenge, and hope over despair contribute to a legacy that can influence generations. Children who witness parents loving through difficulty learn that such love is possible. Communities that embrace post-betrayal love develop cultures of grace and resilience. Societies that value forgiveness and restoration create environments where people can grow and change rather than being defined permanently by their failures. This legacy perspective provides meaning and purpose for the difficult journey of learning to love after betrayal. It suggests that our individual struggles to grow in love contribute to something larger than ourselves and offer hope for a better future. Conclusion: the crown of wisdom. In the end, Solomon's wisdom reveals that the capacity to love after betrayal represents one of the highest achievements of human character. It demonstrates the triumph of wisdom over instinct, choice over emotion, and hope over fear. Those who develop this capacity join the ranks of the truly wise, not wise in the sense of intellectual knowledge, but wise in the deeper sense of understanding how to live well in a complex and often disappointing world. They have learned one of life's most difficult lessons, that love's true power is revealed not in easy seasons but in difficult ones. The ancient lesson that many love while they are loved, few love after being betrayed, serves as both a challenge and an invitation. It challenges us to examine the true nature of our own love, and invites us to grow toward the kind of love that can survive any test. This growth is not easy, and it is not quick. It requires courage to face our own limitations, wisdom to understand human nature, and strength to choose love when everything within us cries out for self-protection. But those who accept this challenge discover that they are capable of far more than they imagined. They learn that love is not primarily about feeling, but about choosing. They discover that their capacity to love does not depend on another's response. They find that they can maintain their ability to connect and care even after experiencing the deepest disappointments. Most importantly, they become living proof that love can triumph over betrayal, that forgiveness can overcome bitterness, and that human beings are capable of reflecting divine character in their relationships with one another. In a world filled with broken relationships and wounded hearts, those who love after betrayal shine like stars in the darkness. They offer hope to the hopeless, healing to the wounded, and evidence that love, true love, can endure through any storm. This is the wisdom of Solomon, not merely to understand love's failures but to transcend them, not merely to survive betrayal but to transform it into an opportunity for deeper love, not merely to protect ourselves from hurt,
but to develop the strength of character that can love regardless of response. Such love does not come naturally to most people. It must be cultivated through wisdom, strengthened through practice, and sustained through connection to something greater than ourselves. But for those who develop it, this love becomes their greatest treasure and their most significant contribution to a world desperately in need of healing. The few who love after being betrayed become teachers for the many who love only while being loved. Their example points the way toward a higher form of human relationship and a deeper understanding of love's true nature. They demonstrate that betrayal need not end love, but can become the means by which love reveals its true character and discovers its full potential. In this way, the ancient lesson becomes not merely an observation about human nature, but an invitation to transcendence, an opportunity to join the few who have discovered love's greatest secret and become vessels of its most profound expression.